What's going on, everybody? This is Darian with DariensCreationz. I want to talk to you guys today about digital art and getting into digital art. The pros, the cons, these are my top 5 of each. Some of them are going to be the same and you'll understand why. And of course, you can see any video on YouTube or Rumble or wherever on the internet talking about the 5 things you need to do, 5 things you don't need to do, their top 5, top 10, whatever. These are just mine. I get asked a lot of questions and I figured my lists are going to be very similar to other people's, but probably modified heavily towards a certain field, and specifically digital art. So when I talk to new digital artists, I see a lot of them on Facebook and new Procreate and digital art groups, and they're joining daily. Every day somebody is joining. Every day somebody is getting an iPad or a tablet. Every day somebody is starting to draw at any age. There are people in their 40s that are picking up art for the very first time because digital art made it possible. So I kind of want to hit on that. I'm thinking there's no point in making these videos. Everybody else who had digital art videos assumed you were already a digital artist or something like that, or an artist to begin with. So I don't want to call them a weakness, I'll call it a struggle. So these are my top 5 strengths and struggles when it comes to digital art. So number 1, encouraging. Digital art is very encouraging, and because of that, there is a strong desire to learn digital art. Like myself, I've been drawing for most of my life, or scribbling, doodling, whatever you want to call it, but I didn't really get into digital art until I seen a speed painting done by none other than one of my favorite artists, Blaise. I was watching this thumbnail, and the thumbnail to me at the time looked real, so I thought it was a picture, and watching him use Photoshop to draw captivated me into a new digital art thing, including the lighting, shading, resolution, being able to print, not getting messy. There's so many things I can name, and I was blown back. I think I binge watched most of his videos when it came to speed painting. Then I was watching anybody's speed painting video, and I said, I have to get to that level. I need to do one thing I'm proud of like that. And so far I've done it. I've done a lot of speed paintings, but there's one specifically I'm most proud of. And my goal is reached. So I actually completed what I wanted to do as a digital artist, but it doesn't stop there.
Nope.
Next thing, number 2. It's very cost effective. Now, maybe for you it's not, because you had to start off with an iPad or some sort of tablet that may have cost you a lot of money. You do not need the latest and greatest iPad Pro or whatever the newest Samsung tablet may be, or whatever, name it. You don't need the Wacom Cintiqs.
Nope.
And all these things, because that's not just pro level, that is serious hobbyist pro. I have the money for it. And you don't always start there. You may start off with the iPad that you already had lying around the house. So that's what I mean by very cost effective. It is not something that takes a lot of money to start to get into. These apps, I use 2 apps primarily when I draw. I used Procreate, number 1, and the second one I use is ArtStudio Pro. I do like them completely separate, although the one thing they have in common is they're both digital art drawing apps. I will use one over the other, depends on what I'm actually doing. I have right here before me a 2021 version iPad Pro with the M1 chip. It is 1 terabyte of storage. I do have a 2 gig or 2 terabyte solid state hard drive, SSD, yeah, solid state drive as well. For other things, I haven't anywhere pinched that, but I do a lot of stuff in 4K as far as my video playback and all that other stuff. So I have a lot of files saved on this, but this is what I use, and I walk around with it quite often. Obviously, I have the 2nd generation Apple Pencil. I don't use any other stylus other than the Apple Pencil, because clearly Apple made it, so might as well. So that's what I mean by very cost effective. The third thing I want to talk about when it comes to digital art or being new to digital art, this is still one of the strengths, is the ability to learn mobile. So you no longer have to sit in a classroom, which is traditional. So we have traditional media, traditional mediums. whether it be newspaper, canvas, paper, printer paper, walls, whatever. So not only is digital art its own thing, you can do that digitally by looking at it online. As a matter of fact, I can pull up my iPad right now, watch a video on the left side and draw on the right side. So not only am I getting digital online tutorials and things of that nature, I can still draw and follow along digitally as well. So it's very, very mobile. You're never stationary. You don't have to go to art school and sit down in a chair, although I still recommend for those people, yes, definitely go do that. But you can take your art studio and your art teachers and everybody with you, just like your portfolio and everything that you have, your digital portfolio, online portfolio. Everything I need to draw is right here. So another one of the strengths, like a lot of things, we get stagnant in life. We tend to plateau or hit our peak and then just that's it. It is a new discipline. Digital art is a new discipline. So you have a lot of people who are traditional artists, and even that is completely separate. You have people who are completely different, and when it comes to sketching, to painting, to sculptors, to, you know, even photographers, which I've been, like, all of these are faces of art, but digital specifically is a new discipline. The same way you hold the stylus is not the same way you may hold a pencil. And, you know, I don't have an easel set up in front of me that's almost in a vertical. I'm probably drawing on a flat plane or something where I am holding more of a writing grip or the tripod grip, and not like this, how I normally would do it if I'm using traditional pencils and paper, and, you know, being able to use my arm in a certain way. Number 5, this is my last one as of right now for the strengths when it comes to digital art. You have creative control. That is probably, like I stated earlier, that's probably one of the biggest takeaways I've noticed. So modifying at will, changing environment, and you have endless capabilities. So I can take an image that I previously drew, save so much of it, copy, paste into another layer, and duplicate it again. Or I want to take that same image and I want to change the highlights, or I want to change the shadows, or I want to change the entire background or whatever, but I want to keep the pose or keep the image, or change the skin tone. There are lots of digital artists online right now who will draw a head and then paint it with more of a black African American skin tone, a European, Nordic, you know, a Middle Eastern skin tone, or like a Latin American brown, or white, Caucasian, whatever, and different hair colors on the same head. And you can't do that 100% the same with any other medium at all. You have to be digital to do this. Copy, paste, same, but different. So now, these are my top 5. Let's get into top 5 struggles I've noticed I've seen most new digital art and just even professional digital artists fall victim to. One of the main ones is very discouraging. So at the very top, my number 1 was encouraging, because you can see what can be done. Well, in that same breath, that could be very, very discouraging. I'm in many different Facebook groups when it comes to like Procreate and digital art, and I notice a lot of people, when I'll post something, people will comment on it and tell me how great it is, or how crappy it is, or how I need to fix someone's face, or whatever it may be. And I notice they don't post anything.
Nope.
At all. They've been a member in that for years, some of them, and all they do is critique and like stuff, but they don't post anything. Is because they're discouraged. So this previous year, like close to the beginning of this year, I ended up posting something on one of my like Procreate for beginners groups, which I'm not a beginner anymore. I've been doing this for at least 6 years, so I wouldn't consider myself a Procreate beginner. But I just said, hey, Happy New Year, everybody. You have to keep your old art, save it. You have to see where you've come from to see where you are now, so you can see the growth and stuff like that. And someone said that was very encouraging. I needed to see this, blah, 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 fill in the blank. And I was starting to read posts, and people were saying, based on the work they see most of us post, they aren't at that level yet, and they feel very discouraged. These were their words. They're very discouraged, and they don't want to post their work because they're not where they need to be at. And so that is one of the things I see a lot of people struggle with when it comes to digital art, is they see their favorite digital artists, or any art for that matter, and they think their work is trash, and it actually probably is trash. But either way, post that trash so we can all see it, and then know your steps along the way. One of the other things, number 2, going into struggles when it comes to digital art, is people skipping the line. What do I mean by skipping the line? This isn't like going to Rome and buying skip the line tickets to go into the Colosseum, which is another marvelous piece of artwork that you should probably go see. I was just there for New Year's. But skipping the line, so you're gonna pass vital steps when it comes to an art journey. A lot of people traditionally would go to art school. They would understand they paid for this school. They didn't just show up on accident. Someone didn't gift them an art class. They went because that was a passion, that was a drive. And so they took time to learn. They read books, they understood color theory, they did all these things, and then they actually went and got the fundamentals. Like school, you don't just skip high school. You don't go from primary school, middle, and then skip high school, which is where everything dovetails, and then go straight to college. Right? There's stepping stones to all of this, and art is no different. And I think digital art has put the power at everyone's fingertips so much that they feel they don't need to do certain things. They can just skip it and roll right into a Procreate tutorial and learn how to paint pretty mountains, paint this apple with me, paint whatever. And I'm like, you can't draw a straight line even with the snap tool. So we need to go back. And that's where I say that could be a very big struggle, because they see they spent all this money on all these tools and Wacom Cintiqs and iPad Pros and Apple Pencils and grips for the pencil, and even the stupid little glove, the little pervert Michael Jackson glove everybody has. I have a few of them myself, and they still can't do it. And so it's like you need to go back, regardless if you have digital art, and still learn how to move your hand, still know how to read objects by looking at them correctly, and break it down and simplify forms in the first place. So that is one of my big ones. Number 3 is you get stagnant. You don't grow as much, I notice sometimes, as a digital artist, even though the potential is very much there to, I think, to the moon and back. But a lot of people I see will continuously draw the same crap over and over and over again. And I don't mean just a niche, like I just draw females, I just draw landscapes, but they'll draw the same landscape over and over and over again. Or the same female pose, they're all looking to the left, they all have hair up to here, they all have the same pair of earrings. You might have changed the nose 5 times. But like, it's like, dang, you don't want to draw anything else? Nope, I'm good at drawing this, so I'm just gonna keep it here. And it's like, you'll be really good at drawing that same head over and over and over again. So stagnation is a big one I've noticed with digital artists. I have fallen victim to every single thing I'm telling you right now, which is why these are on my list. And I've gotten through all, and some places I'm probably still at, and I know I'm there, and I'm trying my damnedest to get out. Another one. Stolen work. Talk about pissing somebody off. Your work can and will be stolen if you do not protect it. There are ways to get around this. You can watermark all your images. You can save them in specific files. You can save them at a certain resolution where it's only beneficial to share online. And the minute you try and zoom into it, it looks like complete ass, like some sort of Minecraft people, right? It looks good the way I presented it for you to look at it just like that only, but the minute you go in and try and zoom, complete meltdown. And it sucks that we even have to get to that level, because it's nice to see someone's detail and be able to zoom in and look at all the pixels and see the brush strokes or whatever they may have done through digital art. But like I said before, you're always going to have thieves. No matter where we are in history, if it can be stolen, it will be stolen, and people will still use it and sell it as their own. And this doesn't only apply to digital art when I'm talking about drawing. This is also with photography. I've had many photos I've taken, even professionally, get nabbed and used in ads, and I've seen them on all kinds of stuff. So digital art, for the purpose of this, I'm mainly talking about actual like digital painting, digital sketching, but digital art as a whole. Everybody has that, like, you know, that fear of missing out, right? I need to get on this next thing. What's the next thing? Oh, it's all digital art. I need to get on that. And so, hey, that's that. And last but not least, this is my biggest thing. I'm gonna kind of go into a lot of the stuff. I said it's cost effective as number 2 on my strengths for digital art, because you can get in very, very cheaply. You can get an old refurbished iPad. You do not need the 12 Pro Max.
Nope.
Well, that's a phone, but you don't need a 12.9 inch iPad Pro or anything like that. You can use an iPad mini. You can use an old iPad mini, an old iPad Air, whatever. So it's very cheap to get in. But one of the last things I want to talk about is it's super expensive to start digital art. And I say, and I write in parentheses in my notes, for some. And those people are the ones who have the pressure, the societal pressure. You're watching a YouTube video like this, and you may see that I say, hey, I have the M1 chip, the iPad Pro, and all this other stuff, and I can't do art on this anymore. I need the new M2 chip so I can use the Apple Hover feature. And you know damn well I don't need that feature if you've seen my previous work that I didn't even have the current feature. So I proved you do not need the latest and greatest to get your point across when it comes to digital art. However, there is a pressure from hell that everybody will put on you online that you need the latest Apple Pencil, the latest iPad, the latest fill in the blank, the latest app, the latest this, the latest technology. You need to have all this crap. And you know you're going to sit back and say, oh, well, I need these brushes from that person. And I do buy brushes. I will be 100% transparent. I do buy brushes from artists like Blaise. I think Lulu Sketches, something Jing. I don't remember. I buy brushes not because I need them. I almost never use their brushes. I have used them just to see what they did with them, and I can appreciate their art. But I still use a lot of the basic Procreate brushes or the ones I use on my own. I like to support other artists, and therefore I will buy their brush. I will see what it's like. I will be like, hey, I might, out of their whole brush pack, I might like one brush, maybe two. So that's just me. So still getting into the whole being super expensive, like I said, people will think they need to buy the latest iPads, the latest styluses, the latest apps themselves. They need all the brushes, so the artists that actually use that brush, that's the way I'm gonna get my photos recognized as well. And like I said, there's just too much industry pressure, and I have thankfully never fallen victim to that. I get things because I can afford them. Now, this iPad Pro is not just my like digital tablet. It's much more than that. It is where I do a lot of my finances, even my video edits on YouTube and stuff like this. I do all of them through my iPad Pro, and I need the processing power. I need the size. I need the files to be as high resolution as I can. I have a completely different YouTube channel that's more into firearms, military tactics, and all that stuff. And I've been doing that for a while. So the fact that I still store everything on my iPad Pro and edit within the app, I can shoot, edit, post everything within it. And I do have a huge iMac as well, and I don't even use it often. I use my iPad Pro primarily for almost anything digital when it comes to video editing software. So that's why I have this, but it's the best one I have that I could afford. So I would never tell you, you need what I need, or you need what I have in order to make images the way I did. As a matter of fact, I think some of my best images were on my very first iPad mini when I first had Procreate. Do not get skill and talent mixed up when it comes to that. So those are my top 5 for each, but do not get skill and talent mixed up. Some of us are born with a natural talent to do things that takes other people a long time to develop that skill. Art is one of those things. But hopefully you like my top 5 strengths and struggles when it comes to digital art. If you are new to digital art, consider subscribing if you want to see an art journey. I am not a professional artist or anything like that. I always say I'm a crappy artist, and the reason for it is because if I supersede that expectation, which I have many times to me, I succeeded. But if I just go and say I'm great and then I draw something and it looks like complete, but I'm going to feel real bad. I will be discouraged, and then I will probably say, it's because I have the wrong brush pack. It's because I need the M2 chip. It's because of this. And then you'll start to get into that vicious cycle of buying crap that you don't need. So hopefully this video was helpful for some of you guys. Sorry it took so long. But hey, you had time to listen. This is Darian with DariensCreationz. Stay tuned for the next one, and I'm out. Peace.